Hey everybody! Up, 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 up. Hey everybody! Welcome to another episode of Nightmare Road. I, of course, am your host, Decon, here with the very, very mentally disgusting Laura Lasher,
Oh, I don't know who
and
that is.
that's you.
Oh,
So I have to protest. So
you're not.
so anyway, so no, we're patriots. So that's actually a requirement to be part of the show. Is you need to be very patriotic. So anyway, today's episode is the continuation of BTK.
Mhm.
So last week we left off. This episode is brought to you by Loot by Lottie. You guys can go ahead and order your boxes, your jewelry, order all that stuff at Loot by Lottie. If you guys use the code Lucky Loot, get 10% off your very first order. Also by Silver Witch, and also a shout out to Shaun Burris of the Shadow Nation. He's going to be continuing his show, I believe, next week, so he can resume his episodes and all that good stuff. So shout out to the Ghost Man. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna continue with BTK and his wild adventures. Come on, already. Sorry, cat. Um, so yeah, last time we left off, he was locked the kids in the bathroom.
Yep.
He, yep, he had done some very bad things. So now he's moving on.
Yeah. So he finished off victim 6. Then he moved on to 7. Um, the 7th one was, I think, like almost a year later. It was like 9-ish months. Um, and should I say her name? I feel kind of bad.
Just say the name. It's fine. It's documented.
Yeah. Her name is Nancy Fox. She was 25. Very young to, you know, crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so basically he saw her like walking. I think she was going into her house or something like that, and he said that he kind of stalked her for a while. She had like the requirements, she was small, or I guess like easily uh able to be overpowered.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. That's actually one of the things that I was wondering with him was the fact that when he picks out his victims, like he was very calculating in a lot of things. So you get a lot of those serial killers that also pick out victims, but it's mostly, is there anyone around? And they don't think about, the physicality of it. So you have serial killers going after somebody and they like underestimate like their size, and that person's able to shove them and like run off or make enough noise. With him, it was like very like, who can I overpower?
Yeah,
And
it was
he also sized up the men.
yeah, that's what he liked. He liked to be in control, so it had to be somebody that he could very easily control, tie up and do all the whatever it is that he wanted to do. Um, that's why he like avoided people that were around men all the time, or like if a man was to get home with them, he would wait. Like the last one or two, or maybe it's I don't even know, but there was one that she got home with like a man. He waited in the closet for like an hour before he came out to attack her because he didn't want to deal with the guy that
with
was there.
with the guy.
Mhm.
Because you know what I would do, bro? If BTK, bro, if he came out and tried to bind, torture, kill me, bro, first when he swung that rope around, I would loop around the rope like this, bro. Because I saw a Russian martial artist who would move with the stuff. That's what I would do. I would move,
Mhm.
and when he's distracted by my sweet movements like a serpent, bro, I would immediately catch him with an uppercut, bro. Over. Game over. Out.
That's it.
I'm a hero.
And then he's caught.
And then
Um,
he's caught.
that's it.
Hit him
It's
with
the
a
end of,
computer.
it's the end of the video. So he basically would stop by her house to kind of like size up everything, the house, who she was like, I guess, hanging out with, or if people would get home, if people lived with her, like stuff like that. He found out her name through her mail. He went and checked her mail. He found out where she worked, and then he would stop by her work a couple times,
Jeez.
yeah, to like see her and whatever. So when the day came that I think he said that for this one he just picked a day and it worked out. He went there, he cut the phone lines because like that was just a thing that he did for
Yeah.
pretty much all of them. Which I wonder, like, was he expecting that maybe they'd get away? Like he
I
had this
think
fear of losing control, maybe.
that's probably what it was. But also remember that um in the last murder, the phone kept ringing and ringing and made him very nervous. So he's probably like, "Damn, we gotta avoid this."
But I mean, he cut the
But
line for the first one for the family.
oh, he did, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's. I wonder what that was. I wonder if he was afraid.
There were 3 people that he was expecting to be home in the first one. So I'm sure it's like he didn't want for like a kid to run and call the police while he's tying up the
And call
mom.
911. Yeah.
But then he just kept doing it. So I'm thinking maybe it was his fear of like not having control or losing control of the situation and them
Yeah.
So
So
way.
by this point, is he own like? Because remember that there was a point, and I don't know if it's happened yet, but there was a point where people began to make sure their phone lines worked. Like now it was known that there was this fucking psycho walking around.
Yeah, because with one of the victims, he got there and told her like, "I'm just making sure that your phone's working," because like people down the street have been complaining, and she let him in, and he like went to go pretend like he was fixing her phone.
That is crazy, and he was just cutting that fucking line.
Yeah, it's insane.
Jeez.
Um,
And also with the thing where he was, going to her work and nobody thought like that it was weird that here's this guy. He's like, "Hey guys," with his fucking Grinch eyebrows.
I don't know. I don't know where it was that she worked. That I guess it was like normal for him to just be stalking around there. But yeah, he would go to her work and I guess like maybe interact with her, maybe so she was kind of familiar.
Oh, that would be so much
That would be,
creepier. It's like,
yeah,
I seen you.
yeah. Um,
Jeez.
yeah, I don't know what that was, but basically he knocked on her door and she didn't answer. I'm assuming that he was gonna just force himself, like inside the house at first, but she wasn't home. So he cut the phone lines, broke in, and then he waited for her in the kitchen. Like he waited for
Jeez.
her to get there.
Made you a snack.
Yeah, yeah. Except not really, because she gets there and he's like, "Hey, I have a sexual problem and I'm gonna have to tie you up." So
Oh, it's like, oh, I made you. He's a secret. I jerked off into your food, because he was a fucking weirdo. Um, so so he gets home, right? He was what?
she gets home.
She gets home. He was waiting for her in the kitchen. He told her, "I'm gonna have to tie you up because I have a sexual problem."
Yep. And then she was like, and he let her like smoke a cigarette or something, and then she's like,
That
"Oh,
is insane.
that's the
Why
second
would
person."
that he's done? He was such a weird guy because he would talk about like so and so was thirsty, so I gave him something to drink. So and so said he was uncomfortable, so I loosened the ropes a little bit. So and so said they were uncomfortable, so I moved them, make sure that.
Maybe that's his way of like making it seem more okay in his head because he knew it was wrong. Like he shouldn't have been
Well,
doing it. They all know it's wrong. Um, I think maybe that was just his way of like, look, I'm being nice for their last moments.
yeah, I'm a nice guy. Damn, somebody that's sick, they probably did think, like,
They were doing
oh, I'm
something
not
good.
that bad of a. Yeah, that was good in there. Fuck, it's so creepy.
It's gross.
So
Um,
he practiced a lot of. Anyway, continue. Then we'll
yeah,
talk about that in a minute.
we'll get to that.
Well,
he tells her, I'm gonna have to tie you up. She smokes her cigarette, and then he says that she told him, all right, let's get this over with so I can call the police. And he was like, okay. Yeah. So he took her to the bedroom, handcuffed her, and she like laid on the bed or something. And then he tied her feet. I think he said that at this point it was with like pantyhose. He had tied her up with pantyhose because
Yeah.
he tried to take his hit kit that he called it. um
You know, that's what's bizarre is in some of the he had this whole little kit. He had like ropes. He had all kinds of little weird things.
mhm.
But in some of the murders, he didn't bring it with him, so he improvised. It's like, dude, like
Because
you planned it.
I think sometimes it was just a random day that he figured it would work, or maybe he had like a weird urge to just do it that day. Because with some of them, he did go like places and change his clothes, and then he'd go and kill them. Then he'd go and change his clothes again, and he like made sure that that clothes he was going to get rid of it. But, like some were very planned out, and the other ones kind of were just like half planned and half just luck, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
yeah.
so
So
that's so sick.
it's gross. So he said that he tied her up. He tied up her feet. She was already handcuffed. He tied her feet, and then he got on top of her and strangled her with a belt.
You know the thing that I also found interesting is a lot of his victims didn't know that he was gonna kill them. Because he like again he didn't want that panic.
Mm-hmm.
I, did he stop using that? Because he had that story where he's like, "Look, I'm running away from the police. All I need is your car. I need you guys to sit down. I'll tie you up, and then I'm just gonna leave. I need your car, and you'll never see me again." He used
Yeah,
that story a couple
he
times, didn't
used
he?
it a couple times. I'm not sure when was the last time like he used it. Um, but he did use it a couple times. Oh, okay. He used it for the last one also. Um,
Okay.
so
I
yeah.
I wonder if it was also the circumstances, like if their odds were against him, and he's like, "Fuck, I need these people to
Hmm.
let me subdue them." That way, because they can, even if it's a group of women, um, it's very unlikely that they'll overpower you. But the fact that one of them can get away is really astronomical. So you don't want to take your chances. So that's probably what it was. I'm just gonna get at, there's multiple people in the house. Let me just tie you up.
Yeah, and that's
Jeez.
with the phone thing. He didn't want to, lose control of one person or something, and then they were going to either call somebody or run off or whatever. That's why he cut the line.
Yeah. So you cut the line. Jeez.
Um,
Anyway, so he strangled this girl.
he strangled her with a belt. He took the belt off, which like she's already dead, so like why, he took the belt
Why
off.
remove it?
Yes, well, he wanted to retie everything with pantyhose. So he like retied like her hands, her feet. He tied them instead of having it just handcuffed. And then he uh, uh, did things to himself, like
What
while
what what do you mean? What did he
like,
do?
okay, he masturbated. I guess I don't know if it was on her or next to her or
He he
whatever.
masturbated his weenus?
Yes.
Damn.
But he didn't rape her.
No,
So
that
none of
was
that.
against his moral code.
Yeah,
He
he's like,
talked about it.
yeah, whatever. And then he took some of her stuff, like some items from her house, and then he took off.
Trophies. He would take trophies.
And they asked him like during his confession, like, why would you take these things? And he's like, I don't know. Like, okay,
So weird. Such an
Mhm.
interesting guy.
Yeah, he's creepy, very creepy.
I had a
Again,
joke that I was gonna say earlier and I forgot it.
oh,
Should really start writing stuff down.
you should. See, yeah. See, when you see stuff like this, though, like you see somebody that looks like this, like you expect it.
What are you talking about? Everybody said he looked very friendly, looked like a normal guy.
No,
He
no,
he like I said, he looks like George Costanza possessed by the devil.
it's insane. His eyebrows are so pointy.
Did you hear that? Like in all documentaries, everybody talking about him. They're like, he's a man that could be in the room and you would never suspect. That is an evil looking bastard. I
Hmm.
would immediately, even if the BTK murders were not going on, I saw him on the road, or like if he was driving at the stoplight and I look over and he's standing there and he's looking at me like, with his fucking eyebrows, I'd be
Yeah,
like,
like
that guy,
that's him, like when he got caught in like his prison stuff, but even
show
in
up.
a suit, like there's just
He looks
no,
insane.
like he looks like a really mean principal.
He looks like the assistant principal, vice principal.
Yeah, the one that like encourages uh paddling children.
Yeah,
Just
he looks
looks mean.
he looks like the mean alcoholic divorced like assistant coach at a high school.
Ew.
Walks into the locker room and the first thing he does is just throws a chair.
Like the basketball coach.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ew.
yeah, not radio.
No, Ed Harris, absolutely not.
I
He would never.
I will say this about the movie Radio. Okay, you know when radio radio was. You okay?
Hmm. Go ahead.
All right. You know when radio was giving his motivational speech? I wasn't impressed. I I was watching it and I'm watching it and I was like, didn't move me. Anyways, go ahead.
Stop talking about this movie.
Ah,
Okay, next one. Next victim. So the next one was 8 years later, actually,
jeez.
which is insane. It was 8 years later, and it was a 58-year-old woman. Um, this one, he picked her. She was he like started stalking her. She lived down the street from him.
That's even worse.
Yeah, and they asked him like, "Did you know her?" Like whatever, and he's like kind of just here and there, like we pass by, and she liked to
Yeah,
garden
wave.
and all these things, and it was he's so gross. So he said that he picked, I guess, a day or whatever, and he went to a bar or something like that, and he got some beer. He put it in his mouth, swished it around a little bit, and spit it out, and then got a taxi and pretended that he was drunk. Um, and took a taxi to that street. Told the guy like, just let me out here, blah blah blah, whatever. So the guy lets him out, and he. This was, I guess, okay. Maybe I should go back a little bit. This was after he parked his car and changed his clothes. So he parked his car, changed his
Okay.
clothes, got into a taxi. Um, so he had a bowling ball bag that had all of his stuff in it.
His hit kit.
Hmm. Um, and he acted drunk like while he was walking or whatever. Walked to her house. Her car was there, so he was like, "Okay, cool." Broke into her house and realized she's not actually there. She wasn't home, so he hid in her bedroom and waited for her to get there. And this was the one where she got home with some man. Said
What? Get out of here, Titan.
she got there with some man, and he waited for him to leave, of course, because why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Um, and then the lady started to fall asleep, and he He flicked on the lights of her bathroom, which was across the hall from her, because he said he didn't want to turn the lights on from her bedroom.
Yeah,
Like,
jeez.
like I didn't want to like turn on her lights. Like, what? You're there to kill her. Like, what do you think? You're like being
I
considerate?
well, no, I think that there's a lot of things to unpack there. Like number one, I think that in cases where you're going to do a, I don't even want to. Let's say you're going to attack someone, or you don't want to turn on their light because you don't want you don't want them to be able to look around. You want them oriented. So
Mm-hmm.
you want another source of light, and you're already used to the light. So when you walk into a room, or if that person gets up, like the first thing they do when they see light is they squint or they're blinded a little bit. You want them disoriented. That's what
Yeah,
I imagine. The fact that he did that is sick.
it's gross. Like you can tell that these things like he thinks about, but at the same time, like everything, it feels so random. Like it feels just like he's kind of just playing it, as it goes. But then he does stuff like that, or like he stalks them first and like whatever. So it's weird. Like it's half planned, half not. He kind of just like depends on like um hopefully they're home, hopefully no issues. It's very weird.
He's like me with plans. I make a plan and I'm like, you know what, we're doing it, and then like halfway through, I'm like, you know what, fuck it, let's wing it.
I mean, I don't make plans, so I don't know.
Oh,
So
loser.
whatever. So they asked him if he was wearing masks to like the what?
I was gonna say, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't do much. So
Huh?
hmm,
I don't know what you're talking about.
so um they asked him if he wore masks to these things. He said he didn't wear a mask to this one. Um whatever. So he stripped her of her clothing. He tied her up, and then I think he like gave her he gave her a blanket, or he strangled her with something. He's he strangled
Didn't
her.
he say? Yeah, he strangled her, but I think he did give her a blanket. Didn't he say that
He like covered
he
her.
yeah, he wanted her to be covered up. He said,
Yeah, he maybe because she was old.
maybe because she was.
It's
Oh,
like
maybe
I don't want
yeah.
this one.
Oh,
Get this one. So yeah, he covered her or something like that, and then um went through her purse, which was weird that he did that. But maybe he was, I don't know, looking for something to take. Um
yeah. Some spare change. He's
yeah.
like, I gotta ride the bus.
Well, he took her car because he put her in the trunk. Uh took her to his church and then tied her up in different poses and took pictures of her
That's so sick.
at church. At the church.
At church, right next to the pew.
At the church. I think it was
In
like
the
another
eyes of the Savior. He's over there just snapping photos.
that would make such a good movie scene.
No, what and stuff? What kind of movies?
A movie about him, you psycho. Not just any type
Oh,
of movie.
I thought you meant like a romantic comedy that's like
Oh,
on,
yeah.
what is one of those women networks like Oxygen or some shit?
Um, Lifetime.
Yeah, Lifetime. It's like
I don't watch that.
he was a he was a quirky man. He
I don't
loved
watch.
to take pictures of corpses.
Yeah, no. I don't watch movies about murder.
Uh, like in the last case where he was like, I have a sexual problem and I gotta tie you up, and she was like, all right, well, let's get it over with. She's probably read a lot of those like shitty women smutty books about like like the disgusting fantasies. She probably thought that's what that was.
Probably.
Yeah, yeah, because women are sick.
Yeah. Let me hide my Kindle. Um. Okay. So he he moved her to the church, took pictures of her, put her back in the car, and then drove off and hid her in a ditch. and he covered
in
her.
a ditch.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then he
God.
covered her with like some brush that was there. And then that was that.
Jeez.
Yeah. Now, leave it alone.
I'm not even squeezing. He
Look
likes
at
it.
his face when you do that.
The what?
Look at his face when you do that. Like his
Let's see.
smushed up. Look how he's all smushed. Look at him.
He's not smushed. Look at that room.
No, yeah, well, I'm saying like he's all smushed, you know.
No, he's not.
No, not bad smushed. He's just anyway, whatever. Um. So next one.
How many victims are left?
Two.
Jeez.
Yeah, crazy. It's a 10.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Okay, next one.
but I mean, 10 in 30 years. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
We're
No,
talking
it's no, it's not, but
a lot.
still it's a lot of people.
Yeah, especially because the first was 4 of them at once. So anyway, all right. So the next one was not until like a year and a half later. So the last one happened in April 85. This next one was in September 86. She was 28, and this one is Vicky something with a W. This is the one that he pretended to be a telephone repairman. Yeah.
Can you imagine him wearing that little blue helmet and he's like, "Hello, and I'm here to," and he's always rubbing his hands because he looks like he's always rubbing his hands, and a little bit of smoke comes out because he's a demon. Like, "Hello, I'm here to repair your phone lines."
Okay, if this man came to your door and was like, "Hey, just want to check your phone," what would you do?
I would I would basically splash water on him, see if he melts.
Yeah.
Oh, what a world! Oh, he's just like,
You're like, a phone? What's that? Yeah. So he was like, "Hey, I need to check your phone because like the neighbors have been having issues." And she was like, "Yeah, go ahead and come in." It's like that, not a good idea. But he would have probably gone in either way, you know.
what an idiot.
Yeah.
What
So
if she? What if? And this lady was single.
I think so.
What if
He
he?
made sure he usually made sure that they lived alone, or knew the schedule well to where they would be home alone when he went.
Could you imagine if he goes in and he's like, "Hey, she's a slut and she's got like 5 guys in the house with her."
Well, he'd probably leave.
Well, he'd probably be like, "Oh no," and he's got his hit, and then they like bind him up, and it's
He
like a
would have liked
bunch of guys. Yeah, he would have liked it. A bunch of guys with their pants off, wearing tennis shoes.
he used to he used to bind himself up.
Yeah, he did. It's so gross.
He did.
Do you,
Um,
do you have those pictures?
I have 4.
Put them on screen.
So this one,
Beef
I don't know
tips.
where he I don't know where he is, but I took him all out of the thing. Hopefully
He
this
looks
is
like a shadow person.
censored enough. So the white
You know what he
line.
looks like?
Oh jeez, what?
He looks like a cartoon that just went through the wall.
So, like when they're running and they crash through.
Yeah, I just crashed through the wall. Meep meep.
So the white lines are where the rope is, and then obviously he's standing. So he's like in a calf bind
What's over,
there.
what's over his head?
He has stockings, like pantyhose.
He has like panties all over. It looks like he's wearing like some kind of like a hood of some kind, and he's like that whole thing looks like a
Hmm.
superhero costume, and he calls himself Hooded Justice.
Yeah, so in this one he has pantyhose, and he is wearing like a woman's.
Where is he?
I don't know. I think maybe this is like in his like man cave. Like the
It
shed
looks like it looks like he's in Afghanistan making like ISIS like promotional videos.
I think he was in his shed. I think this is like where he had one of his like hidey holes where he would hide the like stuff that he would take and the clothing that he would take.
Come join us. Look at
Um,
these monkey bars.
so what you can't see here is that he's wearing a woman's nightgown, and I think he's even wearing a bra. And he would take this stuff from people, from women.
Those are the trophies he was taking.
Some were his victims' clothing, and I think he was most likely doing that weird like thing that he would take people's underwear from their line. So
Yeah.
that's one of them. This is another
We
one.
call that the old smash and grab. What the fuck?
Yeah, this one, his feet are at the top, and he's like, that's his head at the bottom.
Do you think
This
he
one,
called somebody to help him?
no, he would do this by himself, and then he would like rig up. I don't know how he would do it. I think probably with that stick that's right next to him, and he would like take the picture on his own, and there were Polaroids. So I don't know how he did it, but he got it done.
Come here, Chuck.
This one, he's wearing a mask.
I almost said, look at that fucking freak. It's me.
Look at this one. So it's a very it's it's a very weird mask that he has on. It's like a doll. Kind of creepy. Jeez. There's this one.
That's a sexy one almost.
You should. I'll send you the uncensored one.
No thanks.
Well, so this
I don't want
one's
people to think I'm gay.
weird. Also, he's wearing women's clothes. So
That's even worse.
Jeez, I don't even. Okay, I'm just gonna show the. Oh no, I think I only put 3 of them. Oh well, I don't know where the other one is, but yeah. So he had one more, and that one was a very odd one. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I was like, why do you want to be
producer? Can you edit this out, please? Thank you.
That's weird.
All right, I'm not that interested in looking at a man with lingerie.
Okay, so yep. So he this lady, yeah, you'd rather hear about the murder part. Okay. So he said, "Let me check your phone." Let me check your phone. She said, "Okay." He like fiddled around. I'd rather hear about the murder. So he fiddled around with the phone, supposedly fixing it, and then he turned around with a gun in his hand, and she was like, "Oh, darn!" Right? So he was like, "Yeah, go to the room." And then he said, "I'm gonna have to tie you up." And he used just stuff that she had laying around, like shirts, pantyhose, whatever. And then she kind of like broke out of those ties. And he said this girl put up a fight. Yeah, he's like she was fighting a lot. He's like it was very loud. Like the windows were open, so like I was afraid that somebody was gonna hear because it was very loud, making a bunch of noise because they were just fighting. He's like, we fought for a long time, blah blah blah. So he finally got gained control of the situation, strangled her with some stockings, and he thought she was dead. And so she took pictures, and then he left really quick because he realized all the noise or whatever.
Yeah.
The paramedics were able to get there, and they took her, I think, to the hospital, but she ended up dying.
Yeah, it's sad.
Mm-hmm. So that was that one. It's ridiculous. So yeah. Then there was one more. This one was an old lady. She was 62.
Oh boy.
She was 62.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But this one
Ancient.
didn't happen.
The fabulous moolah.
Could have saved a lot of people. So let me see. This one, he changed his clothes. I guess he had like this one was like a random one, I think. So he changed his clothes and he took his hit kit with him. And I guess he tried to like walk, to the door and like whatever. She wasn't there. She wouldn't answer. So he threw a brick through her window and then let himself inside the house. He said he was a criminal and that he just like, needed food, whatever. He said that he would like pretend to get food and like pretend to get stuff to drink or whatever. Handcuffed her and then told her that he just wanted the car. He wanted to eat. Took the handcuffs off, tied her with pantyhose, which like
Where it was his kink.
it was his thing. Yeah, because he strangled her with pantyhose as well. And then put her in his trunk or her trunk, I guess, and moved her. When he left, he realized that he had dropped his gun. He didn't have it with him. So he went back to the house, got his gun. He said it was by the window. Like when he had broken the window, his gun had fallen. So he like picked up his gun, and then he got her car keys and he threw them on top of her roof, like the roof of the house.
Yeah.
And then he went back to his car and he went home.
Jeez. You know what? That's what I when he's like, I'm a criminal. I wonder how he did it. I wonder if he went in and he was like, I'm crazy. I'm a criminal. Booga booga booga. And he's just
I don't. That's what's insane is that like he says the way that I told this story, very very monotone and boring. That's how he says his confession.
I walked in there and I was like, hey, I'm a criminal. Showbiz, and
You sound just like me. And so yeah, like I don't know, he just what?
nothing.
So
That was his last murder?
that was the last one, and that was in 1994.
Jeez. Holy shit.
Yep.
Wow.
So after that, he was just sending like little puzzles and things like that to the news stations, to the police stations, and just being a weirdo basically. And
You know
then,
what's funny?
mm-hmm.
The fact that he called a radio station, I believe, and he gave them like instructions or gave them like whatever the hell he did, and no one recognized his voice.
No,
It's like that's how much of a loser he was. Like his whole family was able to hear him and just like it's whatever.
maybe he wasn't like a talkative person.
But
Like
mate, could you imagine?
everyone said he was
He's
friendly, but maybe they thought he was friendly because he just wouldn't talk.
yeah. Everybody thought he was friendly. He's like look at that friendly man. Um, so yeah, could you imagine he's at work and they're like, hey, Dennis, or maybe they call him Denny. Like, hey, Denny, come over here. Listen to this fucking loser. And Blaine like, oh, you'll find the next puzzle. And he's like, oh, they're never going to catch that guy. The next puzzle's located in the library. Wow, that guy sounds really smart. Like, wow, you should listen. And then it's like, oh, well, take it easy, Denny. Get out of here. What a friendly guy. Look at those friendly, welcoming eyebrows.
What do you think he felt? Like if people were, how would you feel if you were BTK and people were making fun of you because you were such a loser?
Um,
What?
if people were making, see, that's hard for me to like step outside of myself because if somebody was making fun of me and like making fun of my stupid eyebrows and you know, I I can't help it. Like if it's a good one, I laugh and I'm like, holy shit, that was pretty good. But if I'm BTK, like I would think that he would be like very offended and like angry because he's like in control and here people are calling him like a little queer or something. I don't know what the hell they're calling him.
Yeah.
But like they're making fun of him, you know?
Well,
And I just
this is all we don't know if they actually made fun of him.
well, we don't I like to think they did. And they're like, that fucking idiot. Yeah, here he comes. Hey, Denny, wedgie. He's like, oh, and his eyebrows are just like going around like they're cockroach antennas. They're giving him a wedgie. Get out of here, you freak.
Oh,
Bop him on the head.
Oh, man, how many people do you think he talked to about these like murders? The
Oh,
way
did you hear
Kemper,
that?
the way Kemper
Did you
would
hear
do
him?
it. It's like Kemper would talk to people about the people that he killed,
Yeah,
and like
he would.
he had said also like the girls that he would give rides to at school, he said that if they if they got in the car and started talking about this murder that was like killing all these girls, he would get embarrassed, and he's like that was a guarantee that they were gonna make it home safe because he was embarrassed to kill them after they were talking about it.
I could imagine him riding that car, and he's got like the little steering wheel because he's gigantic,
He's
and he's
so
like, "What you think about murder that happened? I heard they call him Zapple. You think Mother is impressed? You think Mother would love him now? Just
without a steering wheel, it just looks like you're dancing.
a little bit of both. I was doing the Trump.
I was gonna say that's who you look like. Well, not look like, but you know what I mean.
The greatest country. I walked in here and said, "Wow, what a country." Um,
Jeez. All right.
the, they say these were the greatest murders they'd ever seen. I walked in here and was like, "Wow, what a murder!" Um,
I bet that's what they thought every
but
single
but that was the steering wheel. That's not me dancing. But
time. Like
no, that's the
milking
little the little steering. Yeah, milking the cow. That was the little steering. I wish I had something like, "What'd you think about the murder?" Just
That's how big the
yeah.
steering wheel was in his hands.
The what? Yeah, that was the biggest size. Give me the biggest one. We have one of a tractor. That'll do. You know,
Yeah.
um, there's a shopping cart as a backpack. This is my backpack.
Radio.
Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, radio's attached to it, like still dangling. He's like, I don't like that one. Anyway, so,
Shut up.
so, any, anyway, so he's leaving these puzzles,
Mhm.
and he contacts the cops. And this is okay. So far, he seemed like an intelligent guy. He was calculated. He did all these things. This is the part where, to me, I'm like, what a fucking idiot.
Well,
Is
see, in between like all the years that he was waiting to kill the next person, he would send puzzles and letters and things like that to the cops. It's just after his last one, he kind of quieted down until they started writing a book about him. Um,
Yeah,
and then that's when he was like, absolutely not.
it's like
That's me. You don't know anything.
the they're like a fucking loser BTK. And he's like, what?
Yeah, he didn't want them to take credit. And so he resurfaced again and then started writing things and leaving notes, and he wrote to the cops through the newspaper, um, and was like telling them things like through, I guess, like ads or whatever, um,
Yeah,
and asked them if they could track a floppy disk.
what an idiot. I'm like, no,
Be
of course
honest.
not.
Yeah, he said like, tell me the truth or whatever, and they're like, it'll be fine, Rex. And then that's how they caught him. The
Yeah,
floppy
that's how
disk.
they caught him. Floppy disk. What an idiot. And it was so weird. It's just watching him do the confession and him just fucking talking about the murders as if he was just recanting an old story about when he and his great grandpappy used to go down to the river. You know, same sentiment.
It was very, very calm. I'm sure a lot of people have watched it. If not, I think they should because
Yeah,
it's crazy.
go check it out. It's almost he almost seems bored. Like just talking about
It's
like,
like
yeah, I
this
strangled her.
again. I
Like
already did.
then I masturbated, I guess. Look
Yeah,
at the sexy pictures of me in pantyhose. How come we're not talking about that? I shaved that day.
it, no, he's so hairy in those pictures. It's crazy.
You have no idea what it takes to shave my body. I have to coat myself in Vaseline and then hurl myself into a campfire. Um, you should see how I light up blue. like an old cotton ball that was used by Albert Fish.
Albert Fish.
Hollywood.
Oh, yuck.
Um. Anyway, so yeah, that was BTK. Damn, that was 30 years worth of shit.
Mm-hmm. 30
Um.
years.
His daughter is now giving like interviews about like what it was like having him as a father, what he was like, and she's sitting there just recanting stories, and she's like, "So we were around Christmas, and and he had,
She talks just like him. No, she said he was
yeah,
a good dad. Like he was.
yeah, he was a great father. He he put pantyhose around my neck, and then he let me go, So,
Okay, don't say that.
well, we
He was very.
allegedly,
He was very
according to
present.
me. Yeah, you see those? Look at those Christmas pictures. They're all smiling, like around the Christmas tree, and he's smiling like this.
He looks like a okay. He looks like a normal person. Don't loosely. I use that loosely. Normal. He looks like a
Yeah,
regular, I guess, like dad, weird looking dad.
yeah, he looks like if he was in the room with a room full of Spawn. You remember that Spawn? Like he wouldn't stand out at all. It's like they're all from hell. Um, so that's it. That's BTK. So thank you for joining us on today's episode of Nightmare Road. Um, yeah, guys, buy some merch. I got some new stuff out there. It's good. Actually, it's shitty. Don't even buy it. Don't even check it out. Who cares? Um, like and subscribe. Share the show. Anybody that you know that. Oh, what do you got going on there? Okay. Um, anybody out there that you think is very depressed, maybe you catch them eating a bowl of shit. You know, just show them the show,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. So
Don't take them to the doctor or anything. Just show them
no,
this.
don't take them to the doctors. Hey, buddy, why are you eating a bowl of shit? Um. So yeah, that's it, guys. And remember to always look both ways, especially if you're radio.
Into the shopping